All right, so check this out. If you're taking sides, right, left, Republican, Democrat, atheist, theist, men, women, Occupy, banksters, right? If you're taking sides, you've been sidelined. If you're taking sides, you have been put out of the game. I know, I look like a football coach with this microphone around my neck. If you've been seduced into being divided and conquered, you have been sidelined. You've been neutralized. You've been effectively programmed to project your fear, your anger at your own soul loss, at your own disconnect, at your own non-union with the absolute one source God. If you're taking sides, if you're battling, the only thing to battle is ignorance, not knowing. But not even to battle that. Trust your ignorance. To notice, to discriminate, to be present. Taking sides is the blame game. Blame is lame. Blame is over. If you're taking sides, you missed the point, you missed the boat. It's passé. God's source that creates the whole universe does not take sides. God's source loves everyone. God's source is on everyone's side. She is on everyone's side. He is on everyone's side. If you're taking sides, you've been sidelined. You're not playing the real game of life. You've been divided and conquered. Easiest game of ever to play. You get people fighting each other. You get the banksters being the evil guys, the bankers, the horrible bailout, Wall Street, all that stuff. And you get the Occupy people thinking, we're righteous and we're better and we're the 99%. You're caught in the game of battling. As long as you're blaming someone, you're not looking at yourself. You're not looking at your own game. Babaji, Krishna, Jesus, Buddha, real masters are masters of materiality. Oh, Tobias, that's all highfalutin philosophy. We're just regular humans. We need Social Security paychecks. No, you've given up. Everyone has direct access to Source God. In each one of your Kundalini chakras, in each one of our energy bodies, we have direct hookup to the Source God. Some of the ridiculous ploys that the divide and conquer mentality, the masters, the slave masters, the people behind the scenes that pit one against the other and feed off both. The Sneetches, my friend Corey was just telling me, there's a story by Dr. Seuss about the Sneetches that, check it out, that sells stars and no stars to both sides. Sound like weapons. Do you know that the Rockefellers helped fund Trotsky and Lenin? Trotsky and Lenin, starting communism, were funded by Chase Bank, basically. They'd get parades, the Rockefellers, when they went to Russia. That's playing both sides. If you're a victim of the both sides game, Republican and Democrat, are you kidding me? Republicrats. Men versus women, feminism versus traditional, theists versus atheists. If you're caught in these games, ridiculous abortion issues, and you're pitted against each other, you've been sidelined. You've been effectively neutralized. You are not accessing direct source God inside yourself. But you're fighting fellow humans while the foxes raid the henhouse. Both sides' energies are sucked out of them. Both sides are pitted against each other. It's so ridiculous. Yes, I'll send my son, 19-year-old son, grandson, off to war to be in the army and get shot in the head for oil. Yes, I'll do the same on the other side. They're preparing World War III to pit Muslims against Christians. These idiots want Armageddon because they think Jesus is going to come in the clouds. It's insane, right? So if you've been divided and conquered, if you're taking sides, God does not take sides. Source does not take sides. Source is on everyone's side. Source loves everybody, supports everybody for awakening. Don't be sidelined in the game, right? So racism, male, female, right, left politics, all that stuff, right? You know, one thing you can tell I get attacked from both sides of things. Like the bankster people, you know, like they'll attack me for being, oh, you're trying to help the masses are asses and they need strong control. And then the Occupy people are like, we need to get rid of the banksters and, you know, everything will be fine and do all that. Both sides will hate me when I say you need to look at yourself. One sign of not taking sides is that both sides, see, they need each other. You can't have you can't have the Occupy movement without having banksters, right? You can't be a bankster without oppressing people. So they need each other. It's the dance macabre. It takes two to tango. You can't have poverty. You can't have rescue organizations. You can't have a Mother Teresa unless you have oppressed, poverty-stricken people. You can't have firefighters unless you have fires. You need to have fires to put out. You can't have doctors unless you have sick people. You can't have the Drug Enforcement Agency unless you have drug trafficking. So they're caught red-handed flying cocaine into U.S. airports. Sacramento Bee, CIA smuggling cocaine. Google it. Right? There's a deeper game going on. If you're in the pendulum game, both sides will kill the messenger. Both sides will be angry. It's no different than a domestic argument. If you've ever been around two people fighting, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, you know better. That's the worst thing for cops. Is domestic argument is the worst, right? Because they will both turn on you. Because they want to keep that thing going on a subconscious, unconscious level. So when you get involved in something like the Occupy and Bankster thing, and you try to have them both wake up, they will both turn on you. Because they like the fight. They want to keep that righteous game going. We're so obviously correct. Those other side are such obvious idiots. Right? So if you step in and try to enlighten, awaken, they'll both turn on you because they are interested in keeping that game going. That's a sign of stepping out of the game, that often both sides of something will both turn on you. As an example of that, and there'll be blind spots, denial spots from one side. If you're into Fox News, for instance, and you watch that, you can see how obvious their denial spots. And the left side has super obvious denial spots too. You know? Like, well, we must help the common people, and Steve Jobs is some kind of saint, you know, and all the Occupy people have their little iPhones and tablets, right? And somehow Saint Steve Jobs gets a pass, even though they're the richest company, you know, practically on the planet, Apple, and somehow they aren't able to pay a living wage to Americans or, you know, keep the job, but they have people in Chinese factories sleeping at the factory making the iPhones and the iPad, and they just get a free pass. It's okay, you know. Or if you have a Volvo SUV, that's okay, but a Hummer needs to be scratched and painted, right? It's like we look the other way for our people on both sides. The real awakening is when we start getting beyond the polarity game. It's not about right and wrong. We quit projecting our soul loss onto some other. The ego game of projecting on the other. It's their fault. Blame, right? The usual one finger at them, three at us. So, if you're taking sides in these ridiculous manufactured games, the war of the sexes, the politics game, the haves and have-nots, right? And then single issues. Marijuana, yes, marijuana, no. If you're being pitted against each other, you're not in touch with a deeper humanity. Original source, who, you, humanity. So, don't be sidelined by being pitted against each other. Alright? Coach says, I'm wearing my coach shirt today. Looks like it's my little microphone actually, right? It's the whistle, right? Coach says, don't be sidelined. But do your own personal work. You know, heal your own self. Use some real powerful techniques, you know. The inner body awakening is one of the simplest techniques on the planet. Alchemy, learning to work with your own energy, you know, opening your heart beyond duality, beyond the yin and yang, beyond right and wrong, like Rumi says, out there beyond the game of right and wrong, there is a field. I'll meet you there. Yeah. So millions of us are going to wake up to being beyond this game of polarization, polarized issues. The last election, 50,900,000 people voted for Tweedly winner, Obama, and 50,500,000. It's a totally even, divided and conquered country, America. As long as we can be polarized by issues, gun control, no gun control, abortion, no abortion. As long as we fight each other on this stuff, the fox raiding the henhouse is laughing all the way to the bank. They play both sides of every conflict. Time to wake up if you don't want World War III. All right. Don't be sidelined by getting artificially into the blame game and being provoked to take sides against each other. All right, thank you.